Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of SchreckTeck. Wherever you are, we hope you're having a great day. It is about 8 o'clock Pacific time on June 5th. And joining us as always today, she's back.
I'm back.
It's Gina. How you doing, Gina?
Yes, good. And a shout out to Don Mahoney. Thank you for subbing for me last week. You did a fabulous job. And last week I was in San Francisco, and I have to show because I have my Show and Tell This shirt on that I got from Verizon. I was on this innovation technology committee, and they flew a bunch of us out there, and we got all kinds of fun gadgets, which I have one around my neck, which I'll talk about later. But, you know, if my phone rings, I may have to just plug in and answer it like this. So I'll show and tell this. But I want to just jump right in because, Rick, we have a very exciting guest today. Do I say that every single week?
You say that every single week.
It's always exciting. It's always exciting when we have an expert with us and that can help us learn more about using technology to build our business, to manage our brand, to get a little geekier without turning into a nerd. And I think, you know, we have the perfect person. So I would love, and many people know Phyllis, but I'd like to introduce Phyllis Khare because Phyllis, if any of you have looked for a book, you've been in Barnes & Noble or you've looked on Amazon looking for, there's got to be the good social media book, Social Media Marketing for Dummies. I mean, who doesn't love all the Dummies books?
I have that book.
This one I love, and you would love too, Rick, because it's an e-learning.
I have it.
You have it?
I have the book.
You have every book.
I have everything.
You are the library. And it's just funny. You've got a library. But Phyllis,
every time you invite somebody, I go, hey, I have that book.
Yeah, I know. He's always going, I have that book. Also, Facebook Marketing All-in-One for Dummies, which is another fabulous resource for people because we're always looking for that place to get answers for Facebook. So and also I think Phyllis has a good program coming up that we're going to talk about, but she's got the social classroom. She teaches everywhere. Welcome, Phyllis Khare.
Hey, it's good to be here.
I'll
very exciting.
Welcome. And you are from a small town, you said in Iowa, where Oprah has visited?
Yes, I live in a very small town in southeast Iowa called Fairfield. And yes, we are on the map because Oprah came by and hung out with us for a little bit. But the big thing is I couldn't do this work without the internet and without computers and without technology because I live basically 3 or 4 hours drive from any large city. So I am thankful to everything technology brings to me here.
So you do almost everything virtually?
Almost everything, right, because even Chicago is about 4.5 hours, Kansas City is 4.5 hours, St. Louis 4 hours, Chicago, Des Moines is 2 hours. I mean, some people don't think Des Moines is a big city, but in Iowa it's the city.
So. The city. Well, and Phyllis, you said in your past life, you know, all of us have those past lives, you were a music teacher. I'm curious, how did you transition into what you're doing today?
Well, that's a very good question. I taught music for about 15, 16 years, and I was a performer, and I traveled all over the state, and I would be one of those people that would come into the auditorium. There'd be 600, 700 kids under the age of 10, and I'd have to entertain them for an hour and teach them, and that was me. And it was a lot of fun, and then it just really got to be where I was done. I was just done with the process. And so I put all of that performance stuff in a Tupperware, and I put it in the basement, and I moved to Florida and walked on the beach for 2 years. And during that time, I rediscovered, I could say, my geekiness. I had always been interested in technology, but right about that time, the internet became very important to me. So I built online stores, and I was doing a lot of work online. And then the social media, I started doing all of that. And I just kind of, it was like a fish to water. I really kind of took to it. And so that's how I kind of transitioned into it, by having a little midlife crisis.
Now, did you have that, like a lot of people, did you have that kind of aha moment where you went, this is cool, this is amazing?
I get that aha like daily. I love technology. I love the magical quality of it. I think it's just amazing. I act like a little kid in front of my classroom. I still teach. I teach older boomers, usually second career women who are doing their solo entrepreneur, taking their passion into into creating income. And I'm just like a little kid in front of them because I just think technology is awesome. And so I still have that aha almost every day.
I love it. It does. It is. I always say, people get so frustrated with it, but just to stop and say, look what we're able to do,
right,
with technology and all the things. And you really have, though, created your brand, your personal brand, and have become this expert out there in the area of social media. I mean, you're a regular contributor to Social Media Examiner. You people seek you out for your expertise. And I recently was reading something that you were teaching about Google Plus and YouTube and all the ways that we can use these tools for our business. And that was immediately, I thought, we've got to get you on here, because so many people, we hear about Google Plus and we kind of go, okay, I know I should be on there. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's not just another social site, is it?
No, it isn't. And it's very interesting about Google Plus is, I teach, again, I'm teaching all these classes, and if someone has a local business, I always say, oh, you need to get a Google Pages, a Places page and all that. And then just a week or so ago, Google Plus decides to take all of those 80 million Google Place pages and turn them into Google Plus local pages. I mean,
so
they
what does that
did
really
what I
mean to
hoped they would
businesses?
do.
Explain that.
Okay, so it's very interesting. So if you were a local business and you were kind of ahead of the game and you had already developed a Google Places page, which is sort of like, you can think of it as like a yellow page listing on Google. They gave you the opportunity to put descriptions and video and images, and it was a space that whenever someone would use a mobile interface or even a search interface, your business would come up, and then if you had claimed your business and filled out all the information on it, they would give you priority for that search term, and also all your stuff was available. And it was easy, it was beautiful and lovely. But so what they did is they took all those places pages and they just kind of wrapped them inside of G+. And you still find all that on a search. If you go to a search, your information still comes up like it did before. But also now on G+, there's a little icon on the left side, and I can't tell which side is left for you guys, but on the left side, there's a little icon that says local. And I really suggest that anybody with a small business go on G+ right now and click that local icon and see what comes up, because you might be surprised. And if you haven't claimed your local listing inside of Google, you really need to do it now. And there's a link there where you can follow the process to do that.
Is it for a personal profile on Google Plus or just a business page?
No, see, that is three different things. This is where you have to sort of put your slow down hat on and kind of take a step back. You have a Google Plus personal account, which people understand, and through a personal account, someone could create a company page, right?
So just like Facebook.
Which is great, but this Google Local is something completely different. It's not either of those things. It was the original search listing that Google had that didn't really advertise it really well, but Bing has an equivalent system, and Yahoo has its equivalent system, and Google had its system. But Google now just wrapped it into G+ also. So there are three different things: personal account, company page, local listing. Now you're confused,
so
right?
I just went to my Google Plus account, which is immediately it's my personal profile.
Right.
It's not my business page for Synapse.
Right.
I go down to the area where right below photos it says local. I click on local, but I don't see my business. I see other local businesses.
Right. So you need to search for your business and see if it comes up. And then if it does, you need to claim it. And if your business doesn't come up, then you need to go and create the places page. Now remember this local page, what used to be called places. This was built for businesses that have hours, and like restaurants and cafes and events and things like that. But
it's kind of Yellow Pages type thing.
Yeah, but it's also, you can use it as a consultant. I can use it. I can create it. It's just where it says hours, I don't put my hours.
Okay, so even though I don't have a brick and mortar, it's still, I can make sure that, because I had a Google Places.
Right, and it'll be in there somewhere. And the interesting thing about the whole thing is if you can create an offer. This is a free thing inside of Google Local. You can create an offer for anybody who finds you on a phone, right? If they're searching and they find you on a phone, they can see that there's an offer there and they can click that, and then when they come to your business, they can collect the offer. So it could be 10% off on your services, it could be almost anything.
Oh, that's a great idea. Saying, you could even say something like, because you're so socially savvy and you've already found us here, you can offer a discount.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's Google Places or Google Local, Google Profile, personal profile, and then Google Pages. Here's the one thing I have found when trying to set up Google Pages for clients.
Yes.
You have to have a person that creates the page.
Yes.
But
it's like Facebook where you can have multiple. It's just, but you can have multiple administrators and managers for a Google Plus page. And then you can remove yourself from it.
But you just have to have a single person email to create it off of their profile.
Right. And then you can add other people and then remove yourself.
So from my personal Google profile, I can create a page for another business.
Yes.
I did not know that. I thought I had to have it coming from a Gmail account from their business.
No, actually, and I know this because I created a page for iPhone Life magazine.
Right,
and
which is another
I added other people as managers and then removed myself on it. So it worked it's very easy. It's very clear how to do all that once you get going.
Perfect.
Good.
That's awesome. So businesses really should, number one, claim their local Google Plus place.
Yes.
Make sure you have a personal Google Plus. What is your thought on the use of a personal Google Plus account versus your page? Do you really see it a lot like Facebook, that you really need to be active in both?
Yes.
Yeah. I know. People always ask me that. I said, unfortunately, yes, it's a lot of work.
Yes. And yes, it's a lot of work, but it's very interesting. Depending on your business, you really have to think about which social platform you need to be on. If you have a local business, if you have a business that really needs the conversation and the interaction, there are certain social platforms you need to be on. Right. So when I talk to businesses, I interview them really deeply first, because I don't want them to get overwhelmed with, okay, now let's start with Facebook, then let's do Twitter, then we'll do YouTube, then we'll do, we have to find the correct ones first.
Right.
And then if we can auto post to these other ones and not have to worry about it so much, I'm thinking Twitter here.
I know.
Then we don't have to focus on Twitter so much in the beginning. But if I had to rank them in terms of any small business generically, I would say YouTube number 1, G Plus number 2.
Wow.
Facebook number 3, and then Pinterest.
Wait, where are you putting Twitter?
Well, Twitter, so you build it, but all of those things go to Twitter.
Okay.
Okay, so they're fed by all of those things. And so you don't have to spend a tremendous amount of time. I mean, you go in, you create it, you make it look lovely and have all the information and all that. But unless you're going to be involved in Twitter chats on Twitter, it's a great place. I've met some incredible people. But for a small business, they just need to understand how hashtags work and how search works on Twitter, and make sure whatever they're feeding to Twitter has that included in it so people can find them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So Phyllis, you're seeing that G Plus is actually going to be more important than Facebook, which is kind of interesting. I kind of felt that from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not a Facebook fan. I'm on it, but I just don't like it that much. And where do you see Google going?
Well, like I said before we started the interview, I am definitely a Google fan, and just because of the integration of everything, I just think for a business, and now remember, I'm a marketer and I consult for, with small businesses, so this is my focus, that you need to be on the platform that people are going to use to find you. So you really need to connect all the dots inside of the whole Googleplex. So you need to have your Google Local and your pages and your accounts, and you need to be fully enlivened on YouTube because, that's a Google product also. You need to have all that working and connected, because when people pick up their phone, which we now know that most people, when they're looking for something, they're doing it through their phone, that they find you. And as a small business, you need to get on every phone that you can find and do a search on the keywords that people use to find your business and see if you come up. And if you're not coming up on the phone, you need to sit down and have a serious talk with yourself and try and figure it out and get it done, because otherwise you have shut the doors to customers. Customers will not be able to find you. So that's how important it is to me.
And this is regardless of where you live in the world. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Google. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
You really need to look at, yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're watching everything. And I agree. It's like you really have to look at, and sadly, it's still hard to post to Google Plus because you have to go on to Google. You can't use third-party apps like Hootsuite or, all the tools we use to manage multiple platforms. Google Plus is still not, they haven't opened up that API. Do you know anything about that? Do you have any insider track on that?
No, I don't. But inside of Google Plus, there are some incredible people that you can follow and sort of nudge them every now and again and find out if something's in the works. They are the people that are designing the site there. It seems to be very accessible there, and you can ask questions and see if something's in the works with that. I do know that some people have found workarounds for getting their G Plus things out, which isn't really easy to do unless you have an extension or some other process that you've put in your browser to be able to get your G Plus posts out to Facebook or to Twitter or to your blog or whatever.
Which I think you can do that. I've seen, and I've even seen on Facebook, you can add an app that allows you to say, send this to Google Plus. Unfortunately, it always sends to your personal Google Plus, not your business page.
Right. And,
So-
it's very interesting about... I'd say 90% of the people I work with are branding themselves.
I know.
So for my audience, that's awesome. But I do work with people who are just, they really don't want to be recognized. They don't want to be the person that's being branded. It's all about the company, and I get that. So yeah, there are different things you have to do with all of that.
Right.
Now, did you notice that Facebook has this new scheduling system now built in?
Yes, I've used it.
Yes, it's very nice. And so now Hootsuite's got to up its work a little bit, I think, to keep people there, because the only reason people are using it now maybe is to schedule to Twitter. But if people are using the Buffer app or other things like that, then they don't even need Hootsuite for that.
See, I still look at Hootsuite is a team tool.
Yes.
And that's really, we have a team of community managers at Synapse, and we manage multiple accounts. Hootsuite allows me to go in and look at I can look at what we have for every client posting right now.
Right.
I can look and see a snapshot. So Hootsuite is still, to me, the power tool for a team.
Yes, absolutely.
As an individual, you're right. As an individual, it's better to schedule your posts through Facebook because you're going to get better edge rank score.
Right.
than when you post through a third-party app like Hootsuite. So, and we've had that discussion on our team saying, gosh, do we start scheduling stuff through Facebook? And then, but then I can't see everyone's, I'd have to go into each account and go into the activity log and so forth. And
that would be not so fun.
It's so manual still. So I thought, well, the good news is, like anything in technology, we're moving in the right direction. We're not there yet.
Right.
With some, Facebook, I'm baffled by how are they not sitting with businesses who use Facebook to ask them.
You're saying my words, Gina. I cannot tell you. Every now and again, I go, don't they have somebody on their design board or their whatever? They're actually running a small business?
That's what I say. Gosh, I want to raise my hand and say, come just sit with me for a day.
I'm not even sure if Facebook's running a small business. I don't think they know what they're doing. Look at their IPO, for example.
I just don't get it. Because
Mark's on the record saying they still feel like they're a startup.
Yeah, exactly. and they're what was the thing that the reason the iPad still doesn't have an app is because an iPad isn't mobile. I'm like, the Facebook app on the iPad's not so bad, but
there's going to be some big changes with, I think, the Facebook app very soon. Just because there's so many key things on that app that aren't functioning, like sharing and different things. So I think and also, I get really, 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 really upset when I tell people that on a Facebook business page, if you've created these custom apps and you go to a mobile interface, you can't access them. You do not see them on a mobile interface. Now remember, up to 70% of your audience is probably looking at Facebook through the mobile app. So even if you took the URL for the app page and put it in a post on Facebook, if you look at it on the phone, it redirects you back to the timeline.
Yeah, it is weird. There's so many little things like that that just baffle me that I don't see how they're not.
Right.
Again, sitting with a small business.
So a small business has to know that and think, okay, well, what do I do? If what I'm developing on this app page is important, I need to reproduce it on my website and then take the URL from my website and put it on my Facebook page as a post. So at least that way, people on a mobile device can be able to see it and get to it. So it makes things a little tricky. So yeah, Facebook is, when you write a book, and when you write a book that's as big as this one is, it's like 2 inches thick, and then 80% of this book is still correct because it's all a lot of marketing, but when you do a redesign and all you do is you take something that was on the left and put it on the right, and you mess up the other 20% of the book. Right. It's just not nice.
It's funny because we were talking about that the other day, the book that I wrote about Twitter. I said, I've got to go through, and I had so many screenshots in there that, a month after the book was published, it changed. So technology books today are so hard by the time they come out.
Well, there's something else about tech books. Well, it's actually a real issue with the developers. They make a lot of useless changes. They change interfaces for the worse. A lot of the stuff you just go, okay, why is this better than Vimeo just did that? Vimeo came out with a much worse interface than the previous one. And they go, look at our great new interface. And you go, who designed this?
And what about Bitly this week?
What'd they do?
Okay, I still cannot figure that out. I click on my little fish up there to shorten the link, and then I have to go to share and copy. It's like, okay, now I have 5 steps to grab a short link instead of 1?
Right.
Who?
Have you seen the new TweetDeck on the Mac? I accidentally downloaded it the other day, and what a piece of junk.
Too bad.
The old Air application was way better. Now you have to do keystrokes for everything. For example, you can't just hit enter and get a tweet going. You've got to go click on tweet it, and you just go, oh no, it's slow.
Yeah.
And it's kludgy. I don't get it.
They go from good to bad.
Kludgy.
Kludgy. That's a good word. I need to write that down.
That's a programmer term for very badly done.
Now, Phyllis, I want to go back to, you said YouTube is the #1 thing you recommend for small businesses.
Right.
That, and I'm a firm believer of that, because I feel like video is so hot, and people search on YouTube for everything now. What are your thoughts on that? What do you encourage small businesses? Let's say that I own a cabinetry company, or I have a stationery store. I mean, even those folks should have a YouTube channel?
Yes, but here's the thing. You have to do your research, and you have to see what's really important on YouTube. And you have to remember that YouTube has these two functions. It has the hosting function, is a very functional function where you can get your embed code and you can get your links and all of that. And then it has a social sharing function. And some businesses are going to want both, and some businesses are not going to want the social sharing part of it, and that's fine. But the point being is that you have to find a unique way to present your business on YouTube. You can't just say, here's my cabinet, see how it works? It's great. Because then you look like you're living in 1980. You can't go there. You have to find something interesting, unusual, different, a little different. You have to pull somebody's personality, something aspect in their personality, and kind of make it. So you have to think about it a little bit. You can't just go on YouTube and upload anything. And then the reason I put it at the top of the list is not that people are searching for things on YouTube itself, but they are. They're either searching for your name or your company name or your keywords for your business. But they're also searching on Google, and Google ranks videos very high in their search engine algorithm. So if you have video, it's going to come up in the searches, and this is what you want. And the other thing is, because of the G Plus Hangout on air feature, which we haven't discussed yet, but
I know we need to talk about that because that's huge.
Yeah, because of that structure, when you have an on-air video, it's automatically recorded and put as a draft inside your channel on YouTube. So you can create video pretty quickly and very easily now, and you can rock your keywords in your particular niche by doing that on a regular basis. So for me, it's all about search, the reason that YouTube is at the top of the list, but also because of its functionality with G Plus Hangouts now.
Yeah, I do love that feature. And I was telling Rick, I said it may be even something for us to look at. This show could be done as a Google Hangout.
Yeah.
That's true.
Exactly.
Now
and
one thing
what you would do is you would do the Google Hangout, you would do it on air, so any number, an unlimited number of people could watch, and they could chat, just like you have in any function of, all the other functions that we have with live streaming and Justin TV and all of that. But then it's recorded, it's onto the YouTube channel, you can fix it up. YouTube has a nice little editor in there right now. If you already have your beginning credits and your end credits, you can just tag them on, republish it, rock out all the description with all your keywords, and then publish. And it's done. It's a nice little function that I think a lot of small businesses will appreciate.
Now, Phyllis, what about the time limit on YouTube videos? Because I know there are some people that were grandfathered in and have over an hour. They can do really long videos. And then there's us, and I used to have one of those accounts and lost it somewhere, forgot where it was. And
see, I have mine is extended.
Yeah, I think they've extended just about everyone now, so you don't have those limitations. But I have to tell you,
as long as you're putting up regular content.
So they will give you longer. So we could put up our show on YouTube, which I'd like to do over Vimeo. For a lot of reasons. Vimeo is good, but YouTube gets a lot more traffic.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a small business, I always say start out with make a list of your top 10 frequently asked questions. And then do 10 short videos answering those questions. But like you said, Phyllis, with personality, you want to make sure my big thing is make sure you've got a brand that you're, bringing forward in those videos. So not just talking head. And there's little things, and we've talked about this before, a lot of times people just put their laptop on the desk and they're looking down so the camera's up their nose. And
those are the best ones. But, there's this wonderful template that people can use, and I call it the 10-30-90 second template. And basically what happens on YouTube is when someone lands on your video, you have 10 seconds to keep them there.
Wow.
Really, and that's it, 10 seconds. So that 10 seconds has to be something that's really going to hook them in. And now you have a next little segment is 30 seconds, and you have to keep them there for that. And then after that, you get another 90, and if you can get them through that, they'll pretty much watch to the end. But that template you have to do for every video. You have to develop a style and a voicing around what you do. And honestly, for the people that I work with, Marie Forleo is an excellent example of someone who does this beautifully. But you know, she's gorgeous and all of that, but she uses this 10, 30, 90-second template. And at the end of her video, she has bloopers. And honestly, I don't know if people would watch through her upsell. She always has an upsell at the end of the video, unless she had those bloopers at the end.
Right.
Right.
And does she tell you in any of the text on there, does she say, watch for the...
No, and that's the fun part is you discover that, and then the next time you watch the video, you wait because you know it's coming. And the thing about it is that I worked with a company once, and they they put in the title of one of their videos a famous actor's name, right? And on YouTube, you can see the attention of someone on a video, and it's usually a line graph, and you can see where they've started to drop off like that through the timeline of the video. Well, their video timeline went like this. It was high because of the name of the actor, and then it went straight down.
Because they saw, this isn't what I thought.
Right. So you have to be really clear about what you do on YouTube, and you can't like mess with people, and you have to be, upfront and honest and all of that, because people will click away in 10 seconds, boom, gone. And then, all those good things that come to you from YouTube are not going to happen.
And it's like, I've heard so many people say, use trending topics in the title of your blog posts and videos and so forth, but people don't. You have to tie it in, or you're right. It's like people do a search for a trending topic, and they're going to come to your blog post or your video. They're going to see this isn't what I want, and it's going to bounce back. They're going to leave. So you want to make sure that you're, that the right people. I mean, just like any of our social sites, we can have 1 million people following us, but if they're not 1 million people that will buy from us, then it's pointless. So, it's better to drive the right people there for the right reason, and they'll stay longer at least.
Right.
Well, we've got about less than 5 minutes left on the show, Gina. So is there anything else you want to cover before we...
I wanted to find out about Google Hangout Plus. Is there anything that we need to know to set that up, or...
Well, I suggest that you definitely test it out before you really use it. So, create a circle of like-minded people that you can do some research with, and then create these things and see how they work and test them out and work on it. Make sure you get lower thirds for your video. I have... I'm very happy to send you guys links that you can put this or however you want to do it, but there's a wonderful app that you can include on your G Plus account that creates that lower third at the bottom of the video that has your name and any URL, and you can put up a logo or an image, and you should use that as a small business. So you should try all that out, test it out, research it before you go live on it.
So that should be our summer school homework for June.
Right.
I always look at that as, we as a business, we need to make sure we're always, focusing on learning and growing our business. And I would think Google Plus, Google Hangouts, all of these would be really smart homework for our business.
Good. And look, anybody out there can look me up on G Plus and connect with me. I'm happy to play with anybody there. And
on G Plus, is it just your name, Phyllis?
Yeah, you just Google my name. The trickiest part about me is spelling my name correctly. So it's Phyllis, but the last name is Khare.
Okay, and your Twitter handle is Phyllis, Khare. I just put that in the chat room. Your website?
It's phylliskhare.com.
Okay.
Which is being redesigned. I'm very excited about the redesign. So that's my summer homework.
Really? Is that your summer? That's your summer school homework. I just put your website up here as well. I know Rick's been showing it several times, different pieces of your website. So, Phyllis, what do you have coming up that we can learn from you? Do you have any programs or classes we can jump in?
Oh, I'm so excited about this. I can hardly stand it. I'm working on a project with Andrea Vall, who's one of the co-authors of Facebook Marketing All-in-One for Dummies. And we've developed a product called Social Media Manager School. And we're helping people learn how to not only take care of their own stuff and really get a grip on their own stuff, but also be able to help other businesses and small businesses by being a social media manager. And so that launches in a couple of weeks, but you can go to socialmediamanagerschool.com right now if you want and take a look. Nothing's working yet. I'm letting you in as a little sneak peek. But if you're interested, and if you're also interested in being an affiliate, you should connect with me. Thank you.
Awesome. Phyllis, this has just been so, I always say content so rich, it's almost fattening.
Just what I need.
I gained 5 pounds in all the knowledge that I just took in.
In your brain, right?
You know what? I'm going to work it off by going up and mopping up a flooded bathroom. The water in the bathtub. Still, I can hear that. Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's a lot. You can. I'm happy to put on makeup anytime for you guys.
It's been a pleasure. And
you know what? I never mentioned LG headset, Bluetooth headset. That's what this is. Great for going on walks or working out, answering your phone. Had to sneak that in.
Little LG headset.
Shout out to the Verizon team.
I want one.
I know, it's great. I've been using it a lot working at home.
Sounds great. Well, Phyllis, a pleasure having you on. Good luck in the next couple of weeks with that release. And Gina, till next week. We'll see you guys all on eLearn Chat. Thanks for being there, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Be on Google Plus soon.